Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And I just wanted to get started real quick. Tonight, I think you can find us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube and TikTok. So let me go ahead and hit my live over here. Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And tonight, we have got a really fun show. I mean, as fun as a true crime show can be, right? But we've got some really interesting topics to talk about tonight. So if you're just coming in, please tap and share and like and do all the things. If you've not subscribed to us over here on Twitch or Facebook or YouTube, please go ahead and do so now. Sarah will be joining me here in a few minutes, and we're going to cover a couple of cases tonight. We'll be starting off with a little bit. Hi, I'm Janex. Oh, there's Sarah. We're going to start off a little bit about Gypsy, not very much, because, you know, that girl's been just doing the mostest lately. But then we're going to talk about Delphi, we're going to talk about Kohberg, and we're going to talk about Daybell, Vallow. So we got a lot tonight for you guys. Hey, how are you?
Hey. I'm not even going to say that girl anymore because that's an insult to girls.
It is. She's a woman.
That middle-aged woman who wants to act like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Stomp her fit, throw, her temper tantrums like a toddler. My bed is too hot. Oh, come on. What did you think about that picture I sent today with the magic K?
With the K necklace. Oh my God, so precious.
She just did an ad, right? She just did a promo for the jewelry company that designed her GR and R diamond and gold necklace that she had custom made. That was not even
like are we writing our name on a peachy folder at this point in time? Like Gypsy Rose Gypsy Rose Gypsy Rose guy. Like, come on.
I could not believe that. I was like, she is literally wearing a gold K on her neck, but they're just friends.
They're just friends with matching tattoos.
Right. But she just got done promoting a jewelry store for her custom.
I wonder if they did the K for her too. I wonder if it was a 2-for-1 deal. Maybe she went in and got both of them just in case she wasn't quite sure which one she wanted.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, we're back tonight with a whole new episode of the Crimelines. So grab your glass of wine and let's dish some true crime.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
TGIF.
Yeah. Are you gonna start off, or are you gonna make me look stupid?
I agree when.
No, you're the first. You're the first paragraph, baby.
And I didn't know if you needed to play your little intro.
Oh, I do have a little intro to play. On TikTok, I'm over here on this. I can't play it over here, but let me do it here because I did have something really cute put together to do it, and then I'll let you guys do. No. Why is it not? Hold on. I've got this minimized right now, so I can't see.
got any good plans for this weekend? Besides spending it with us, of course.
Hey guys, keep liking and sharing and tapping and sharing it out there, please. Making sure that we get the algorithm going. We really would like to get a big audience tonight. We used to have a huge audience, but we've kind of taken a step back from TikTok for a while, and so we're just now rebuilding over here. But if you want to start us off, Sarah, you can.
And there's also a little thing that TikTok likes to do called shadow ban. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's basically where they keep your content from going out into the universe, and you're off of, you get kicked off of everyone's FYP. You never go out on an FYP. So that kind of stinks. But anyway, so I am Sarah, and I'm sure Fancy's already told you who she is. We know who she is. We're watching the Good Wives Network. So welcome back here. And we are so excited to be spending our Friday night with you guys. We are so thankful for all your loyal support. So tonight's topics, we're going to be talking about the Idaho College murder trial of Bryan Kohberg, the Delphi murder trials of Richard Allen, doomsday murder trials of Chad Daybell, and of course, if you know who Chad Daybell is, then of course you know Lori Daybell as well.
Lori Vallow Daybell.
But before we get into all of that, we've got a little bit of Gypsy Rose stuff that we're going to have to clear up and get out of the way. And like I said, this woman cannot stay out of the media for a day. So now we've kind of gotten placed in between some of the drama that's going on with her and her estranged husband, soon to be ex-husband, Ryan Anderson.
Right. And before we dive into that, I saw an interesting article today while researching some of these cases and that we're going to discuss tonight. Apparently, there's a Missouri company that is releasing a special deck of cards of cold cases in their state. And I'm sorry, it's in Mississippi. I'm sorry, this is in Mississippi, not Missouri. I wrote Missouri by accident. The Mississippi Coast Crime Stoppers created cold case playing cards that have information about various unsolved homicides and missing person cases, printing 2,500 of the decks to be distributed within 7 jails.
Wow, that's crazy. It was first I've heard of this. Someone saying that California has done that as well.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah.
Each deck features 56 cold cases. There are 20 missing person cases, according to the Mississippi Coast Crime Stoppers CEO, Lori Massey, and 36 unsolved homicides on these cards. The cards each have photos of a missing person or deceased person and information about the circumstances under which they died or were last seen.
And then Massey stated they weren't the first to come up with this idea. In 2009, a similar pack of playing cards distributed in Minnesota helped identify a set of remains as a missing woman. In 2017, arrests were made in 2 cold cases in just 1 week after playing cards with case information were distributed in Connecticut jails. Inmates who report information that leads to the discovery of a body of a missing person or an arrest in a case would receive $2,500, Massey says, though she added that Mississippi Coast Crime Stoppers have not figured out how people in jail could receive the funds. Different Crime Stopper organizations have different incentives, Massey said.
She went on to say, we can't put the money into their commissary account or anything like that. Massey stated, so we're going to just have to figure out how we're going to get the money to them. But not everyone's serving a 15-year sentence. These are our county jails, and we're very hopeful that this will lead to something.
I mean, I think this is a really great idea. So it's basically, these inmates are in there, and a lot of them, criminals run in, packs.
my question is now: is it, just to clarify? Is it are they only being given to county jails or also prisons, state prisons?
I don't know. I mean, Massey's saying county jails, so I'm assuming in this case with Mississippi, it's a county jail, but I think it's also been in prisons before. So, and it's just interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, at first I thought, oh my gosh, that's so macabre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean,
but the more I read about it and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, there are people that, if they are in prisons, that are going to be there for a while, and they could probably use the money, which, I mean, I know if the money was given to a family member could put it on their books, or maybe they have a trusted attorney or trusted family friend or someone that could help them out. I'm sure there's some way they could figure that out, but it's really, first I thought, oh my gosh, this is just the worst thing ever. And then, like I said, I started thinking about it. And like you said, I mean, criminals, no criminals, no criminals, no criminals. And, now it's really makes a lot more sense.
Oh my goodness! Thank you. You're gonna hit my goal for me all by yourself. Oh my god! Well, thank you so much. Oh my goodness! I swear to you guys, we've had a love-hate relationship with TikTok, but I freaking love the little gifts and all the cute little things that pop up on the screen. I mean, it's exciting and it's fun. Now we do have our super chat over here on YouTube, and we're working on some subscriptions and things like that, But I mean, I just think TikTok's so cute with the little things. I guess I have to set a new goal. So I'll set a new goal. Thank you so much for helping us reach that first goal.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the gifts as well too, guys. You know what I do is, I get, since I just get a small amount of gifts, I just exchange them for gifts that I give to other creators.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see here. Oh, let's do the TGIF. I like that.
Yeah, I'm always trying to, help people out and support people.
Okay. Wait, can I make it custom? I can. So let's see if I can go like 1,500. There we go, because they're just the ones, so they should be easy.
Mrs. Heno is killing it over here.
I know. All right, guys, so on to Gypsy.
So yes. So does anybody have anything that they wanted to add about those playing cards or anything? Thoughts? I mean, it's definitely, they're thinking outside the box.
Oh, sure. That was one of the things that our friend Cheryl McCollum started with the wines, and she was doing like wanted posters on wines at her event, and you could buy a wine bottle with a wanted poster on it. It was really cool. We started doing that too.
A minute ago, this is like a new age, milk carton.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it is. So, okay, so moving on. First, I got to address some personal bullshit. With the ongoing issues between our team and the clown club again. I mean, I hate doing this, but so apparently there's a rumor going around that I have finally been arrested in this whole crazy mess with Gypsy and Krusty. I don't know.
What?
I don't know, but I can assure you, no. That's not happened. That's not even how this would go down. Like, what they have to do first is file with the court, and they have not, despite telling Nina, despite telling Nina all the way back in March, she was filing, and I would be served within 2 weeks by a Greene County sheriff. Out of Missouri? Well, I'm in Missouri, Kentucky, and she's in Louisiana. I don't even know how the hell that's going to work, but whatever. Um, so the reason that there's been this confusion though is that Nina just started releasing these conversations on her YouTube and her TikTok that happened all the way back in March. I don't understand why my IMDb is not there. I will have to check on it. Somebody said something about it this morning as well. I have no idea. I know I'm not paying for the pro version anymore because I just don't need it right now, but I don't know. I'll have to go check it out. So thank you for letting me know. I will sure make sure and find out about it because there's absolutely no reason that shouldn't be up. But here's the thing with this. This would be a civil case, not a criminal case. So no arrests are going to be made regardless of whatever they do or don't accomplish doing. A judge has to actually sign off on this. But whatever. She has to file this restraining order either in her state or in my state, not the state of Missouri. So she gave Nina false information all the way around. And then there's absolutely no just cause for this. She cannot just silence me because she doesn't like what we're saying. I have had no contact with Gypsy since 2018 and Krusty since 2021. So there is really, in my opinion, no judge that's going to grant a restraining order like this.
And according to some information that we did receive, what they're trying to do is go through this federally to do a federal restraining order. Now, I looked that up, and what that actually means is a federal injunction, which is even, more far fetched.
Right.
Because listen, you live in Kentucky. She just filed for divorce in Louisiana, claiming to be a resident there. But she wants to file something against you in Missouri. It's like, pick a state, lady. Pick a state.
Right? Like, do you know where you live, honey? Do you know where you are? Because I'm a little concerned for you,
So, this is kind of like reaching for a gag order, but going, completely around it in any way she possibly can.
Yeah.
So, once again, this is just a way for her to try to violate your rights to freedom of speech.
It is.
And being a member of the media.
It is. It really is. And for those of you asking, our ebook, we have pushed back the date just a little bit to March, or not March, I'm sorry, May 30th. It may come out sooner than that if I get it edited and done. But I've had issues with my laptop. I've gotten sick over the last couple of weeks. Sarah's been sick. Colleen's been sick. So it's going to be the ebook and the paperback are set to come out on May 30th. And then I'm hoping that we'll eventually get the hardcover out maybe like a couple weeks later because we want to do some special stuff for that. But since you guys are asking, it'll be available on Amazon. Right now you can pre-order just the ebook. You can't pre-order the paperback. Yet. The paperback yet. Yeah. So and hold on, I kind of wrote something down a little bit about that. So let me go down here. So we appreciate your support, and you can still get the pre-order of the ebook, and we will be setting up autographed copies available on our website for both the paperback and hardbook versions. Will probably also be featured in several different like crime con kind of things and stuff like that across the country in the next year or so. We'll be starting this year and next year. Yeah, May.
She's talking about it's being pushed back
to May, just to May. And it may be out sooner than that. It just I pushed it back 1 month because I could push it back 1 month for one time. Without like having to take it all down and start all over again. So I pushed it all the way out for a month. But if it's done earlier, then you guys will get it earlier. And included in this book will be a specific chapter pertaining to our newly discovered evidence about the chromosome disorder. So, hey, Conspiracy, how are you, sweetheart? Thank you so much for joining us. But okay, so Gypsy must just be on a restraining order kick right now. I don't know, but let's talk a little bit about these restraining orders between Gypsy and Ryan, because they are mutual restraining orders. And this is some wild, wild shit. I was talking about it in Natasha's live last night, and she was like, absolutely not. That cannot be possible. Well, I said the exact same thing. Thanks you, Diamond, very much. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. I said the same thing. And the thing with that is in Louisiana, apparently both parties are automatically awarded a temporary restraining order. And what this covers is things to do with children and mostly finances. So, since Gypsy and Ryan don't have kids, thank God, it's mostly a financial protection. And I was told this and I just couldn't believe it. So I hit the web for research, and lo and behold, I found out it's true. So, according to kenreyeslaw.com, automatic temporary restraining orders prohibit the divorcing spouses from, and there's lots of things that pertain to kids, but I just picked out the ones that would pertain to them, cashing out, borrowing from, canceling, disposing of, or changing the beneficiary of any insurance policy, health, automobile, or life, concealing, encumbering, transferring, disposing of, or hypothecating any real property or personal property without the other spouse's written consent or court order, creating or modifying a non-probate transfer without the spouse's written consent or court order. And it says that violating any of the above mentioned orders can subject the violator to contempt proceedings. And depending on the circumstances of the case, it may even be necessary to obtain specific restraining orders through an order to show cause. So this is different than like what you guys are typically thinking of.
All right, this is different than what you usually think of when you hear restraining order. You think of something physical. This is kind of more along the lines of financial. So, the order to show cause would be more what we typically think of when we say the restraining orders.
Right.
And this would be issued for, threatening behaviors such as domestic violence, kidnapping of shared children, parental alienation, etc. And, this would be more along the lines of something that happens outside of just the regular divorce proceedings.
Right. So that's why they were both granted a temporary restraining order for finances. And Louisiana is a no-fault state, so grounds of adultery don't apply here. But Gypsy is asking for spousal support on the grounds that she feels Ryan was the reason for the marriage declining, because, as she states, he was alienating her from her daddy, hoarding food, snoring, and the bed was just too damn hot for her. I guess the D was fire. But I mean, those are pretty serious charges, you know. But next week we will continue to report on the Clown Club antics, of course.
That's one thing. When I read the divorce screen and sent you a copy of that, I thought, how can she be asking him, stating that it's his fault for the demise of the marriage, when I thought Louisiana was a no-fault state?
Yeah, I don't quite understand it. I'm gonna have to look into the laws more to understand exactly how all that works. I guess though, I don't know. She's Delulu. I can't begin to explain it.
Did Stanfield file this for her? Or, I mean, who put this together for her?
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure. And now, she's telling TMZ she got new teeth. That happened a month ago, so I don't even know why they're covering it now. It's just, weird. I don't know. But one last thing to address before we get into our featured, cases tonight. Apparently, Ryan Lee has shared pieces of my writings from a book we have planned discussing Nicholas. So first off, Let me just inform you that that is a direct copyright infringement. And beyond that, the pages she shared were part of something I showed her because I thought certain pieces were interesting, but it is in no way a finished book or even close to a finished book. When I started talking with my friend Amy Ray about publishing these books, I told her I was like struggling, with organizing all my thoughts because there's just so many from how much time I've spent working on this and collecting so much information. So what she had suggested was to try and just get all the info down. So I did like a brain dump, and I just wrote my conscious thought out so I could begin to organize it all and work with my editor on how to take readers easily through the book. So no, folks, that's not the book you'll be getting from us, at least not like that. Despite Ryan Lee and the rest of the Clown Club former partners believing that their NDAs are invalid, which here's a newsflash for you folks. NDAs are signed by the party it's governing, not by the company. And beyond that, even if I signed it with like a literal X, it would still be valid in a court of law, much like verbal agreements are. So I swear, these people just don't actually do like real research, man.
I mean, it was just literally kind of like, almost like when people just do recordings.
Right.
They just want to get their thoughts out there, and then they will go back and start organizing it into blocks.
Yeah. Right.
And then
which is exactly what we were doing. It's a process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I completely get it.
And that's the thing. Like, I've been going back to school. Last year I went back to school, and this was the only case I discussed for most of my schooling. I'm going to school for forensic psychology, and I'm in all of my major classes. I already did like all the gen ed stuff like a long time ago. Is chicken parm good? I like chicken parm.
I don't.
I love chicken parm. But anyway, oh, cool. Thank you, Robin Rudd, for dropping that about how to understand the calculating of the alimony and stuff. Thank you very much. I'll check that out, Robin. So, that's kind of all we really had to say about Gypsy Rose. But if you guys are forensic psychology, yeah. And then I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to go on and get like a master's in forensic psychology and write this as my dissertation, or if I'm going to join my daughter, who is also thinking of going to law school. So we're thinking about different avenues. But if you guys would like to hit the box, or jump on over here and ask any questions about Gypsy or any of that you guys want some information about, you guys can do so now. What school? I'm at the Southern New Hampshire University. So it's an online program.
Awesome.
But it's really awesome.
If you want to talk about anything we've covered so far, jump in the box. And also on the new book that's coming out, I'm just interested, since I'm dealing with, the social media aspect, is about the autograph copies, the interest level in that.
Yes.
I'm just curious to see.
If you are interested in an autograph copy, could you drop a 1 in the chat? That way we can get an idea, because I'm going to have to order them from the site, like as the author, and then I'm going to try and sign it, and then I'm hoping I can send it to Colleen and she can sign it, and then we can send them to you with both signatures. So I'm really hoping we can do that. There seems to be a good amount of people that would want one. That's fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. We're really proud of this book. My YouTube is Good Wives Net. Everywhere else on all the socials, you can find us at Good Wives Net. We do have a new profile on here that we're just started today for the Good Wives, because this is just my personal account. This is me as Fancy. So I do my little funny videos and my dancing videos and my lip syncing videos, and but when the GWN was taken, I just didn't know what to do. So we've started a new account. It's I think it's the Good Wives Network 2. That's what I think it is. Hey, Colleen, do you want to come up in the box at all to talk about anything, babe? Or do you just want to say hello? It's okay if you just want to say hello. I know we've been kind of crazy this week. Am I a journalist or a reporter? I'm an independent reporter, basically. We own our own network and it will be available hopefully starting in June again. It was up for a year, but it'll be available on Roku and Amazon and Android and Apple. That's where we're going to be. So, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, if nobody wants to hit the box right now to talk about Gypsy, I don't want to. My new tube's not taken down. No, it's here. We're on it right now. Oh my God, I forgot you had them. You told me about that.
Colleen,
Yes.
I am so sorry.
On top of all the bullshit she's been put through this week, and I'm not going to talk about it. It's a lot of crap, and it's really shitty that people are harassing her still. But now she's got freaking bacterial pneumonia. Like, oh my God.
I had that, and it's so rough. I had to go into the hospital. The oral antibiotics are just not strong enough. So I really hope that you're doing better. You don't have to go into the hospital, because I know how rough that can be when you've got little ones. So.
Yeah. Well, Cause 50, we'll be able to announce how you'll be able to find it on Amazon Prime and everything once we get it up and running again. It was up for a little while, and then when we had our split with our partners last year, it came down, and now we're working on rebuilding it. We've got a lot of great content creators still, hanging out with us. We've got talk shows, true crime, home improvement, DIY, cooking shows, political shows. I mean, we've got all kinds of stuff. So I'm really excited about getting the network back up. We worked really hard. Christina, I, and Colleen worked for 3 years nonstop to build the platform, to understand how to do it all, and to start getting other content creators. Now, if you're a content creator looking for a home and you'd like to be featured on a network, or we offer that, and we offer a monetization package with our content creators, and we help you with merch and all kinds of stuff. So if you guys are looking for a place, then by all means hit us up, because we still need a lot of content creators. It's 24/7 live feed, so we got a lot of we got a lot of space to fill.
Yes. Yeah. And but you know what? There's a lot of content creators out there, though, that are looking for a place.
Yeah.
They're looking for a spot, a place that they can call home.
Right.
And feel comfortable.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and get into the first main case we're going to talk about tonight, which is the Delphi double murder of Abby and Libby. If you guys have followed me for any amount of time, then you know that when this case first broke, I was absolutely 100% obsessed with this case. I went down there. I went to the bridge. I went all over the city. I interviewed, I think it's Libby's sister. Yeah, Libby's sister. And I don't know if I put that out on YouTube yet or not, but if we haven't, night, Colleen, I love you, baby. Get well soon, okay? Hopefully we can get into the studio soon so we can finish the book. But anyway, I talked about this case constantly, and I followed this case, and I'll make sure that the interview we did with her sister gets up, because it was really awesome. But Sarah kind of picked this case up again for us, because when Richard Allen was arrested, I kind of stopped following, because I'm just not convinced. But anyway, Sarah, you want to start us off and explain to everybody a little bit about the case?
This is one of the most bizarre cases I think I've ever seen, as far as different things that are going on outside of the actual case. The fact that it's already reached the Supreme Court, Indiana Supreme Court, before day one of the trial has even begun.
That's crazy.
There's so many outside forces, including a recognized and admitted cult called Odiism.
Yeah.
And they're not denying that they are there, and they're everywhere. So
nope. And that's one of the reasons why I think That's one of the reasons why I think that even if it is Richard Allen that is part of this, I don't think that it's just him. I think that this was something else than that. I believe that there's at least two people involved, but the way that the bodies were placed and the crime scene was staged, it could definitely have a ritualistic cult kind of component to it.
It definitely, like I said, regardless of whether he was involved or not, this did take more than one person.
I think so.
More than one person had to be involved.
Yeah, so, and remember, this is all allegedly, in our opinions, for entertainment and educational purposes only.
We are talking about the Delphi case.
Right.
And so this is just going to be just a super, we are going to get into this deeper, guys. We are going to dig into this deeper because so much has happened. But for those of you that don't know anything about it, we'll just do a small recap, and I'm just going to go over like what's just happened this year. So this tragic event took place in a very small Midwestern town in 2017 in Delphi, Indiana. Two teen girls, Libby German, 14, and Abby Williams, 13, were found murdered on February 15th, 2017. After they had been reported missing, they'd been hiking on the Delphi Historic Trail on February 13th, 2017. After their family was unable to locate or contact them, a large search began in this natural wildlife area. After discovering their bodies, a manhunt began to find the person or persons responsible for the deaths of the two young girls.
Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Somebody's asking about why the super chat isn't working, and I don't know. So I'm letting them know that we do have the buy us a coffee at Good Wives Net, and I'm going to set up a new, like a PayPal or something for a fund so you guys can contribute that way as well. So they were asking, but on October 31st in 2022, a 50-year-old man named Richard Allen was officially arrested in Carroll County, Indiana, in connection to the deaths of Liberty German and Abby Williams. He was detained without bond, and to date, Allen has been charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of murder while attempting kidnapping. 2 separate charges of kidnapping were recently thrown out by the presiding judge. However, by the judge allowing prosecutors to add the murder while attempting kidnapping charges, it will allow the prosecution another way to come at Allen's defense by using an entirely new route should the first route fail them. And I wonder if this constitutes felony murder. I don't know if they have that in the state of Indiana, but that's when a murder is done in the, like, it's committed while another crime is being committed, so it holds a higher level. Like it's more along the lines of first degree because of the fact of that it's an added charge to the charge that they're already facing, whether it be a robbery or a kidnapping or whatever. Oh, they do. Right. Okay, so Liquid X.
Yes, federally, I know that. Yes, Indiana does have a lot of federal. It seems like they have federal laws for everything. So. But like I said, we're going to take a deeper dive into this investigation, look at the case as a whole with everyone involved. And tonight we're just going to break down some of the things that have happened just this year, starting in January with the latest events unfolding in March. It appears that this has been, like I said, an absolute legal circus going on behind closed doors since Allen's arrest. I've never seen anything like this, with the prosecution and defense suing each other, defense counsel leaving, defense counsel being ordered back on, issues going on with the judge and the media. Like I said, it's already reached the Indiana Supreme Court prior to day one of the trial beginning. There's also been other outside arrests made and charges filed, and unfortunately, even a self unaliving has occurred just during the time within which this investigation of these two young girls' death has taken place.
Wow. I didn't know about all of that, to be honest, because like I said, I haven't followed it much since then. But if we take a quick look, starting at January 2024, January 12th of 2024, Allen's newest defense teams asked that Allen be transferred out of Wabash Valley Correctional Facility due to his gross mistreatment, which they also claim hinders their chances to properly represent him in court.
So, and we do know, I mean, and we'll get into this, but as far as this gross mistreatment, they're not exaggerating.
No,
it's been terrible. So then we're back in court now on January 18th now with the Indiana Supreme Court reinstating Allen's original defense team of Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rossi, and denying the motion to remove Judge Gull from the case. Attorneys Librato and Scraman, they officially withdraw as counsel, and the prosecutor, Nicholas McLeland, files those additional murder and kidnapping charges against Allen.
So, well, okay. So then you've still got more to going there, right? There's
got
So what did I? Okay, I'm sorry, I just got lost for a second. So then on January 28th, 2024, Allen's original defense team once again files a motion to have Judge Gull replaced from the case. We'll talk about how we feel about it in just a minute before we go on to the next case. Okay, so for those of you that are asking our thoughts and our opinions on it, just let me know. We're going to get to that, I promise. Let's just get through the timeline a little bit. So 28th. Oh, there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah Sanderson. Allen's original defense team once again files a motion to have the judge removed. And then the very next day, on the 29th, prosecutor McLeland enters into evidence a 25-point argument for why Judge Gull should hold defense attorneys Baldwin and Rossi in contempt of court, and even accusing them of violating a gag order. And the judge is yet to reach a formal decision.
Now we move on to February 7th, 2024. Like I said, guys, we're just covering what's happened in just these 4 short months of this year.
Right.
Allen's defense team filed a motion to dismiss all the charges against Allen due to a lack of evidence. And what I'm about to tell you is mind-blowing, but key evidence was destroyed and or thrown out, including evidence that suggested 2 other individuals should have been considered the main suspects in the case, and all their evidence and interviews have disappeared. Baldwin and Rossi were able to track down some of the recorded interviews, but they discovered that key parts of those interviews had been deleted. So then they file a third attempt to have Judge Gull removed from the case, and it was filed and rejected all within the same day.
Oh my God. So then on February 8th, 2024, Judge Gull denies Allen's request to be moved from the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, and both defense attorneys respond to the contempt charges, asking for them to be thrown out. On the 23rd of February, prosecution admits that a set of separate DVR interviews conducted days after the Delphi murders had occurred had indeed been accidentally recorded over.
I mean, isn't that convenient?
Absolutely.
So now we are into March. So this is just last month, guys. On March 6th, attorneys for Allen filed a motion to go ahead and move up his trial date and asked that it take place within the next 70 days. So now we go to March 11th, just a few days later. Judge Gall grants the motion to move up Allen's murder trial and sets jury selection to begin on May 13th, 2024. Right now on the judge's calendar, she has blocked off May 13th through May 31st, 2024 for Allen's trial. Now, there's something here that I want to note, and I want to get back to it when we talk about this at the end. I'm just going to throw this fact out there really quickly. Jurors will be brought into Carroll County, Indiana, from approximately 100 miles away out of Allen County, Indiana, and sequestered there. The judge has also asked the local courthouse to stay open all day long on Wednesdays, which is normally they close and have a half day on Wednesdays, and also on Saturdays. The judge plans for court and trial proceedings to take place Monday through Saturday or 6 days per week. And the judge at this time has still denied all media access to the trial.
Oh my God. Like, Saturdays? They want us to come in on Saturday? It reminds me of Office Space, where he's like, yeah, we're going to need you to come in on Saturday. Like, where's the guy in the basement with the stapler, right? Like,
I'd never heard of that.
What is this judge freaking doing? But okay, so it keeps going, guys. So March 18th, Judge Gold dismisses the extra 2 counts of kidnapping, and it looks like the defense counsel was able to slip by the contempt charges for now by claiming that the court needs to focus on the trial instead of outside proceedings. And Richard Allen also waived his rights to an initial hearing to dispute the newly amended charges that included the 2 new charges of murder while attempting to kidnap.
Right, and so now, what we've got, guys, on the calendar, and we will stay on top of this, but May 13th, in just a few weeks, the murder trials for Libby German and Abby Williams are finally set to begin. And we will be covering them as they go along, as this case develops. So if you guys have any questions, hit the panel box or have any thoughts. One thing I want to add to this, going back to the judge, is they brought in the Indiana Supreme Court, right, to rule, to keep this judge in place. Why is Judge Gull, this woman, so hell-bent on presiding over this case? They asked for a change of venue because they said there's absolutely no way.
And I agree with that.
Trial.
I agree. So he won't get one. He's not going to get a fair trial. I agree.
So instead of changing his venue, she decides to bus in jurors from 100 miles away. And instead, it would have been so much easier if they asked her to be replaced, and the Indiana Supreme Court said no. They asked her again to recuse herself. She said, yeah, no. And then she asked the courthouse to stay open half a day extra on Wednesdays, and then a whole full day on Saturdays. By now, it should show everyone that she wants to preside over this case more than anything she's ever wanted. She wants to change the courthouse's schedule of dates.
Right.
She wants to change legal proceedings as far as being open on Saturdays. Which does not give employees a 2-day weekend. And, wouldn't it have been so much easier to send Allen out to a different county to do a change of venue than instead to change the courtroom proceedings and the courthouse operating hours and bus in jurors from 100 miles away?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Hey, Ashley, thanks for joining us. Did you have a question or a comment or a thought? Okay.
Ashley?
Did you not mean to hit the box, babe? I guess she didn't. So if anybody else still wants to join and talk about Delphi, you're more than welcome to. Hang on, I'm trying to grab this link for over here for the podcast. There we go. That should give it to them, hopefully. So, I mean, this case, you know, I have not felt that when he was arrested, it was rather suspicious, to be honest with you. It was late in the game. They had been looking for, they'd been looking at different people, and one of the main people where the land that they were discovered on, that man passed away. And I'll be honest with you, my money has always been on him being involved. Now Richard Allen supposedly, he gets arrested. He's working in the town the whole time, but nobody recognizes him, and is the bridge guy. I mean, I don't know. This case has stunk from the very second it hit the media. You know,
The police have completely mishandled it.
absolutely,
I mean,
100%.
even, I was reading, they had an eyewitness said that they saw this man in a khaki jacket
Right,
with mud and blood on it.
right,
But Richard was I'm sorry, Alan was wearing a blue jacket, and so the police actually went in and changed the report to say blue jacket instead.
oh wow,
I mean, they have gone so far out of their way to try to set this guy up. And then we have the whole odiism factor with the fact that, the girl's blood, was tested, and it was used to draw the runes on the trees. And so,
right,
it's, and I thought, this has got to be one of those, urban legends, but no, they are proud members of this community practicing this paganistic religion. And
right.
just I know you mentioned something you'd seen pop across your news feed about him admitting.
Right.
He did have a breakdown 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he admitted that he had unalived them with a gun. Pew pew.
Well, that didn't happen.
No, we know that that's not how it happened. But this guy was under so much distress at the time, and still is.
Yeah.
That when he made this, I would call this a false admission.
Yeah.
When he made this false admission, he was actually eating paper at that same time.
Oh, for crying out loud!
He was literally stuck in prison and just eating paper and completely out of his mind.
Yeah, his mental health is severely declined since his arrest.
So is his physical health.
Yes, both. There's been an absolute decline. I mean, he went from being a big hulky guy to
he's just skin and bones.
He's skin and bones now. I don't know what's going on. I mean, there's obvious some sort of mistreatment happening to him. It's no joke, and that does happen, especially in a good old boy network town. That's kind of been my position on this from the very beginning, is that, this is another situation of a small town with small cops that know everyone, and everyone knows everyone's business, and it's the good old boy network. And
right, and keep in mind too, this is up by Lafayette.
Right.
I mean, this is where the Natalia Grace case went down too.
Right. And then on top of that, they're alleging that he confessed to two other girls that are, I think it was from like a 2013 incident. I can't remember, but I'll pull it all together when we go fully into this case next week and as we do. But I mean, this case to me has always raised massive suspicions, massive, because they would tell us that there's absolutely only one unaliver, and then that didn't seem to be what the public was seeing, and so then they kind of went to the other way. Well, there could have been another person, and then they went back to no, just one unaliver. So I feel like there's something very sinister happening here. I just don't know what it is. And I'm not saying that Richard Allen didn't do it. I'm just saying right now we don't know, and there's too many things
also,
going on in this case.
There were ATV tracks
Mm-hmm.
around this area. We know that he was not on an ATV.
Right, right. I mean, so there's just a whole lot of weird, I mean, without a massive weapon, I don't know how he, would have kept both girls contained at the same time unless they were refusing to leave each other because of, of loyalty and all of that. But I just think that I feel like if with just one guy, I don't know, this crime scene was way too staged and planned out and organized, and this is not just I was on the trail that day and I decided to take some girls' lives. No, this was definitely planned for a while, something of this nature.
Right. And Tiny Tart says that she lived in the area at the time.
Right,
Did
I
you
saw
want to
that.
come into the box and say anything?
Yeah, if you do, definitely. When I talked with Kelsey, that's her name. I think it's Kelsey or Chelsea. I can never remember, but it's Chelsea German. I think Kelsey German. I can't remember. The German sister. She was very positive of the police investigation and how much they've done for her. And I told her, I was like, I go, do you really feel that way? Because I don't. I feel like they've been snowing you the whole time. And while they may be nice to you and supporting the ball field that you're putting together and all of the different things that they were doing, they dedicated a park to these girls because they were both softball players. So all of that, but I just felt like she was just so kind for all the stuff that's gone on from the day one with this case.
Well, I'm sure, I mean, they're probably getting told something completely different than what is happening.
Right.
And you have to also take into account that a lot of times these investigators and these officers will hit someone right when they're in the wake of a tragedy, and they are so vulnerable. Yes. In the wake of a tragedy.
Yeah. My thoughts were simply the cops did such a lame job. It wasn't surprising it went on for so long. No, I agree. I totally agree with that. What are your thoughts on it being Richard Allen, Tangy Tart? I'd love to know what you have to say. But this case has had massive problems from the start, and all three of the cases that we're talking about tonight are all weird, strange happenings in these cases. Because the next one we're going to cover is one that my sister has been dying for me to cover, and it's the Idaho college murder case. And right now, Bryan Kohberg is on trial for the fatal stabbing of 4 college students in November 2022 at a home in Moscow, Idaho, where the college is located. Delphi is what we were talking about, Susan. We're now going to move on to the Kohberg case up in Idaho of the 4 college students, which is another case that has just weird things all in it. And we were discussing it in our group today, and even some of our members were expressing that they're not convinced that it's him. And that's interesting because there's new evidence that's come out. So Kohberger is accused of unaliving Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonclaves, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapman. Um, okay, thank you, Cindy. Just send it to me, and we'll look into it. Okay. And I guess they tore the house down recently. I don't know, and I haven't followed this case closely as I'd like to, but I really wanted to make sure we cover it during the trial. And the lawyers for Bryan Kohberg, the man accused of fatally stabbing the four Idaho students in 2022, plans to use cell phone tower data to show he was not at the location where the murders occurred. And according to a new court filing, um, this is a new planned defense alibi. So, court documents apparently allege Kohberger, sorry, it's a hard name, was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, as he often did, to hike and run and or see the moon and stars, and he drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawawai Park. I don't even know how to say that. It's Wawawai. Wawawai.
Barbara Wawa.
Barbara Wawa?
Remember old Barbara Wawa?
Yeah, Barbara. I'm Baba Wawa. And this is 2020. Yeah.
2020.
This is 2020. Yeah. So the document basically goes on to say that a cell site location information expert will testify that cell tower data shows Kohberger's mobile device was south of Pullman, Washington, and west of Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022, that Bryan Kohberger's mobile device did not travel east of the Moscow Pullman highway in the early morning hours of November 13th, and thus could not be the vehicle captured on video along the Moscow Pullman highway near Floyd's cannabis shop. And
Okay.
and a previous affidavit stated investigators had found cell tower data from that morning, which showed Kohberger's phone in Pullman around 2:47 a.m., the night of the murders. At which point it suddenly stopped connecting to the cell network, according to 48 Hours. And it was around this time that surveillance video saw his car leave his apartment. 48 Hours reported 2 hours after his phone disappeared from the network, it reappeared south of Moscow and headed back toward Pullman. And that's all from 48 Hours.
Well, you would think that before they could make an arrest, they would let somebody build a solid alibi and that they would have checked their phone record data first and foremost.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, Susan goes on to bring up the next point that you're going to make, that.
Right. Kohberger was a PhD criminology student and a teaching assistant at Washington State University's Pullman campus. And that's about a 15-minute drive from Moscow. Kohberger was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. His attorney alleges more will be revealed about his alibi and the cell phone records once the prosecution provides them the discovery evidence that they have requested. According to this article, it seems that there's been a bit of alleged hanky-panky from the prosecution. And this may be another reason why Kohberger's lawyers have filed for a change of venue.
Yeah. Well, again, I think this is going to be a hard case for him to get a fair trial, because it's so, with the new way that
so
these
Kohbergers.
Kohberger, yeah, Kohberger. It's Kohberger, Kohberger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just say it right then. Okay,
yeah, Kohberger. Great. Yeah, no. I had to look it up several times because I spelled it wrong once and then I had to go back and yeah. Okay. So, the thing is that this is with the addition of social media and how, thank you, Sen, I got it. How many, how wide these stories go almost immediately now. We've got full coverage of the trials on several different networks. We've got all the social media people that are, reporting like us, and our network reports on it. And, there's just so many independent networks now. And all these places. I think it's almost impossible for fair trials to take place, especially in the area that they are, because I mean, it's immediately splashed across the nation. So it's really hard. Oh, that looks cute.
Oh, cute. Yeah, it is. I mean, and I don't care what anyone says. You are, whether they want to admit it or not, you are guilty until proven innocent. That's just it. It's not.
It is now. It's not supposed to be like that
until proven guilty, but
no.
That's just how it is.
Well, that was
Boston
like
chick. Hey, baby.
Hey, babes. That was like when I started talking about a case in a social media group, and I can't remember which one it was. But the people were like, "Well, this has already gone through trial and da 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 da. So why are you? You know, I always put the FOIA in because I want to touch and feel the evidence, and I want to see all the motions that threw things out, you know, and what we didn't see in court. Because, you know, I mean, a court case is basically now just who tells the better story. I mean, to be honest with you,
Has anybody seen the musical Chicago?
I love that one.
I can tell you right now.
Yep.
The court system still operates in that style.
Yeah.
Razzle dazzle.
Yep.
Razzle dazzle, folks.
Right. And
and especially in the state of Illinois, and I, you know, at the end when he says "Long live the state of Illinois," I was like, oh man, it got me. It got me good.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite musicals. That's one I've always wanted to play.
It's so true. It is absolutely so true. You know, whoever tells the better story, whoever is the better showman.
So that's why, you know, when you think about a court case and the first thing that people tell you is, did you read the transcripts? That's one of the things I get about the Darley case, the Darley Routier case, where I don't believe, like, I'm on the fence as to whether she did it or not. I talk with her baby sister. We're working on something with her. I know that case backwards and forwards from when it first happened. And I'm telling you, I still think that it's, you know, there's a lot of questions about it. And it really is which attorney puts on the better show, which attorney makes the better points, which attorney has the better evidence, you know, and it really becomes a circus.
And you know what? It very often is just how likable the attorney is, or how likable the client is.
Yeah.
Do they like their hair? Do they like what they wear? I mean,
in Darley's case, that was very prevalent because, you know, in my opinion, she was convicted on big hair, fake boobs, and silly string. And one of the jurors, even came out and said, I mean, she's got fake boobs, and like, so you have fake boobs, so it automatically makes you a murderer of your children? Like, that was the whole thing, and that's it, you know. I don't know, but there's a lot going on with this case, with the Kohberger case. There's a lot going on with Delphi, so we'll be updating on those. Does anybody want to hit the box and discuss either one of those cases before we move on? Because we've got one more great big case to discuss.
Yeah, this next one just kills my heart.
I followed it from the second it broke, and I stopped following it when one party decided to file that she wasn't capable of standing trial because she's crazy. And, well, yeah, we all know you're crazy, honey, but no, you were competent enough to assist in your own defense, even if you do think you're going to fly away to some fucking spaceship in the sky. Okay, like, seriously.
Right.
But this is, of course, what I'm talking about, is the Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow saga. And Lori has already been convicted, and I'm going to get into some of that. But we're now seeing 1 year later, Chad Daybell is finally getting his days in court, and we're on day 7 of his trial. So
is it being played on court TV?
I saw it on Law and Crime today, that we streamed today's for a little while. I kind of came in halfway through and I saw it streaming and I was like, oh, well, we'll stream it, real quick, and share it. And that's what we did. But I think it's on Law and Crime. I don't know if Court TV is doing it too. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't do the same ones. So, but I was absolutely obsessed with this during the pandemic. But again, I have to admit, I'm a bit behind because, all these cases hit, a lot of them hit at the same point in time right before the pandemic. And um, so they all hit, and we were like, holy crap, there's all these mamas unaliving babies. Like, there was Leticia Stout, there was Lisa Snyder, there was Megan Boswell, there was Lori Vallow. And then it all kind of got, it fell away because nobody was going to court, so it kind of fell out of the public eye for a little while, and so I lost a little bit of coverage on it. But Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell are the accused doomsday unalivers. And we covered this a little bit on our YouTube channel when it first broke, including we did a 24-hour live feed in conjunction with a few other creators on the day that Chad and Lori claimed we'd see the rapture. And sadly, their prophecy did not come true that day. But we were up with our tinfoil hats on, and we were working with Trisha from Web Sleuth. She kept checking in. We were checking in with different creators, and it was funny.
It's like, hey, we're still here, guys. We're still here.
Yeah, and so we planned a whole 24-hour feed. I slept some, and then Colleen would come on, and then so and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and sadly, no, nobody was raptured. They didn't go to their spaceship in the sky. They still need to keep prepping, I guess.
Yeah. So with this case, like I said, this really broke my heart. I wanted to just grab Lori and just shake her and
Yes.
say, tell me where they're at.
Yes.
Come on. So Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell met in 2018, and at that time, they were both married to other people. Lori was married to a man by the name of Charles Vallow. Mm-hmm. He was Lori's fourth husband, and they were married in 2006. At that time, Lori already had her daughter Tylee from a previous marriage.
Right.
And so in 2012, Charles and Lori adopted 2-year-old Joshua, whose biological father was Vallow's nephew, the son of his sister, Kay Woodcock. They called Joshua, they called him JJ. That was his nickname. Right. And he was on the autism spectrum. I don't know. I believe from what I've seen from the interviews was that Kay just was not really equipped to handle him and the issues that he had. And she thought that, that her brother could give him a better life. So they adopted him, and he and Tylee were just bonded at the hip. I mean, that was like her little baby. She loved her little brother so much.
Yeah.
So in 2019, the Vallows separated, with Charles requesting the divorce after he alleged that Lori had threatened to kill him numerous times. He was quoted at 48 Hours has the police cam conversation that they captured, right, where he says, she threatened me, murder me, kill me.
Yeah.
And so I have seen that right, the police body cam.
Right. And so Charles Vallow is unalived in 2019. Alex Cox, Vallow's brother, on a live trawls in an altercation in Arizona where the Vallow family and Cox were living at the time. And if I remember correctly, both Tylee and Lori were home at the time, and there was some sort of altercation. And then Alex shoots pew pews Charles, and then or soon afterwards, Lori up and moves everybody to Idaho, and they don't prosecute Alex. They determine it to be like a self defense. Thank you. I really like what I did with my hair today. I tried my different little crimper thingy, and I
You
love
do
it.
like a waiver.
Yeah, I have like this one that like it makes like it's like a bump. Yeah, a bump, and I just go bump, bump, bump. Yeah. But anyway, um, so and then later that year, Tammy Daybell, the wife of Chad Daybell and the mother to his 5 children, passed away in the Daybell home in Idaho. Initially, this was ruled as a natural death. And it was after the death of Vallow's 2 children that the investigation into Tammy's death was reopened. The courts had her body exhumed, and then 2 weeks after Tammy's death, Chad and Lori get married in Hawaii on November 5th, 2019. Neither of the children's couples, families, or friends were in attendance. And this is where, we start seeing them all over Hawaii. And like you said, everybody was like, "Where are the children? Where are the children? Where are the even Keith Morrison went to Hawaii and was like, "Where are the children? Where are the children?"
Right? It's just it was so exasperating. And so in September of that same year, 2019, the Vallow family took a family trip to the Yellowstone National Park, and that was the last time anyone saw Tylee Ryan, the daughter. It is suspected that Tylee met her demise on that trip.
Yeah. Now, there's an interesting part of this story that we were all worried about when it first broke. And we were worried that there wasn't going to be justice for Tylee. And this is a crazy little tale. So, there is a 50 square mile area in the Idaho section of the Yellowstone called the Zone of Death. And there is a reported loophole in the Constitution of the United States where a person may be able to theoretically avoid conviction of any major crime up to and including murder. Basically, that 50 square miles falls under the jurisdiction of the United States District Court for the District of Wyoming. And this court is the only one to have jurisdiction over parts of multiple states. So Yellowstone has like this boundary that slightly extends past Wyoming's boundary, and it goes into Idaho and Montana. And so the federal government has exclusive jurisdiction over the park. So crimes committed in the park cannot be prosecuted under any of the state's laws. So now here's where this becomes really tricky. Trials in the district court are normally held at a federal courthouse in Cheyenne, Wyoming. But under the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution decrees that the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed. So crimes committed in this zone of death should ultimately fall under Idaho jurisdiction, and the jury would need to be made up of Idaho residents in the area.
Okay, you're gonna have to break that down for me. I'm think myself and everyone else included is like, what?
Okay.
So as far as I knew, Yellowstone was under federal jurisdiction.
Sure.
But you're saying that there is an area that is under Wyoming state.
No, Idaho. Because
Idaho.
Wyoming is under Yellowstone is governed by Wyoming District Court. But there is a portion of it, this 50-mile radius, that extends into Idaho and into Montana. Okay.
Okay.
And so then what happens, and I'm just going to go ahead and read this next thing that I wrote for you to read. But what happens is the Idaho portion of the park is completely uninhabited. And it doesn't go out into like another county where it would like draw, inhabitants of that. So crimes so it gives them a loophole, making it impossible to assemble a jury of residents of both the state and the district. So there's a lot more to it, but apparently it didn't happen in this case, thankfully. But there has been other cases. This was discovered in 2005 by, I think, a journalist of some sort. And he was the one who discovered this and found out about it. And then they wrote a book about it. Like a fictional book, of like what could happen. But there was something that happened, and they were able to petition the court, and then it could go to the court in Wyoming. There was a case, and I can't remember what case it was, but it ended up in the Wyoming District Court. But it's a loophole.
When I heard they went on that hike, I thought that poor girl, she didn't make it home from the hike.
No.
But apparently she did.
Well, her body did.
Right.
But
I thought, she just tripped and slipped, or maybe they pushed her off a cliff or a trail or something like that of that nature. But no.
We've never gotten, Susan, I don't think we've ever gotten clarification as to where the children were unalived. Because going on, Kate and Larry Woodcock, technically now JJ's grandparents, they stated the last time they spoke to 7-year-old JJ was in August of 2009. And that's when Kay asked the Rexburg police, where Vallow and the children were living, to do a welfare check on JJ in November. At that time, no, they were both found at the Daybell property. They did not say that they were unalived at the Daybell property, Liquid Zion. Just so you know, we do not have confirmation of where they were unalived. We don't, as far as I know. Last time I checked, which was today. So, at that time, the Vallow told police he was in Arizona visiting a family friend. However, Melanie Gibb, who testified in both Chad's, she tested today in Chad's trial and in Lori's trial, told the police that she had not seen JJ in months.
Right, and from what I can remember from the documentary I watched is that she really felt like Lori had thrown her under the bus.
Yes.
Trying to put blame on her.
Yes.
And
yes.
Very
and Lori asked her to lie for her. There's a lot that goes into that. Hang on, let me message my husband and let him know I'm still alive. If he's you can keep. You want to read the next part? Yeah. Can you read the next part? Sure. I'm going to answer my husband real quick.
So, in December of the same year, 2019. Police and the FBI began searching for both the children. Vallow was arrested prior to discovery of the bodies in Hawaii, charged with 2 felony counts related to the missing children and 3 other misdemeanors. She was extradited to Idaho. At this time, Daybell remained a free man.
Yes.
In 2020, as part of the ongoing search and investigation, a search warrant was finally executed on Daybell's property in Rexburg, Idaho. And this is where the remains of 16-year-old Tylee and 7-year-old JJ were found.
Right.
Tylee's body was severely burned, and JJ was found wrapped in duct tape in red pajamas. This same month, Lori's brother, Alex Cox, if you remember, he was the one who unalived her husband, Charles. He actually died in Arizona, and it was determined he died of natural causes. It's believed that he was aided in disposing of the children's remains.
Right.
I believe that he died from a heart attack. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I think so. And see, the reason that he was suspected is because his cell phone pinged on the Daybell property on that day. That was the final day that they determined the children were there. So that was the day that they were burying them, basically.
There's several documentaries. One of them that I saw was something along the lines of, was it not our Sins of Our Mother?
Sins of Our Mother. I think that's Netflix one. Dateline did one, and I think 2020 did one. I haven't seen if there's any more because I don't generally watch the documentaries all the time because I don't like to with the inaccurate reporting. I don't like to watch them as much.
And because of what you may not know, Lori actually had a grown son.
Yeah,
and he was married. Mm-hmm. And had children.
Right.
And
that was Joe Ryan's son, I think. That's the first marriage or the third marriage that gave her Tylee and her son. I think they're both from the same father, and there's a lot of problems with that. And he also ended up dead.
Yeah.
Lots of death.
Lots of dead bodies around this group of
right.
This couple. But her older son, mm-hmm.
you
know, when Sins of the Mother, he's talking about just how heartbroken that he is over the loss of Tylee and JJ.
Well, and the family said that there was so Lori was like this super mom. Like she was so sweet and loving and into the kids and perfect for JJ in his autistic, problems and things like that and everything. And then they said that she met Daybell, she went to a function where he was talking about his books and stuff, and she met him, and they agreed on beliefs and things like that, and they started doing this religious podcast together. And her, one of the ex-husbands, or I think it's Joe Ryan's her ex-husband, Joe Ryan's sister, started reporting on it. She did an amazing timeline, blog, everything, and she talks about how Lori went from being this amazing mom to completely doing a 360 on them, and it was weird, and she just didn't even recognize her anymore.
I haven't looked through the rest of this, but I mean, one thing that I did see that was just so unreal were the text message exchanges between Lori and Chad, as far as they had a rating scale that they rated their children on based off of what they believed to be demonic possession.
Right, and this is where they started talking about zombie people, and their whole head went crazy. Yeah.
Right.
So
right, back to
Vallow.
Alex.
Oh, go ahead.
I said I ended mine speaking on
Alec.
On her brother.
Right.
Alex.
So right.
I think that's one thing I thought. You know what? I bet since he's gone now, they're going to probably try to blame him for pretty much everything.
He's all over this case, though. I mean, he's in the storage unit, disposing of things. I mean, he's all over everything. He's all over Joe Ryan's case. He was her, henchman. He would do anything for her. He was devoted to his sister. I mean, fully devoted. She said jump, he said how high. But Vallow is the first one that we get to see inside the courtroom, Lori, and she is charged with murder and conspiracy to commit murder. I guess they have it in this state. In her children's death. Conspiracy to commit murder in the death of Daybell's wife, Tammy, grand theft, alleging that was for collecting Social Security benefits on behalf of her children, including the payments Tylee was receiving because of her father's death. And then there was lots of deaths surrounding these two, lots of deaths, just tons of deaths.
Right.
So
the judge, Stephen Boyce, ruled that Vallow would not face capital punishment. However, Daybell could face the death penalty. She faced several life sentences in prison. Vallow also faces conspiracy to commit murder charges in the death of husband number 4, Charles Vallow, an attempted conspiracy to commit murder of Brandon Bordeaux, her niece's ex-husband, Bordeaux testified against Vallow in her Idaho trial. The trials were severed from one another when Daybell waived his right to a speedy trial. Lori's trial started in April of 2023 due to the delays from COVID and Vallow's mental state. And I do recall that incident with Bordeaux, where her niece came to her and is like, hey, Aunt Lori, like, my ex is trying to take me to court for custody, and it'd just be better if, like, he wasn't here to bother us. Right. She's like, all right,
I got it. I got you. And he has an attempt on his life. Thankfully, I don't think that one was successful. But I mean, this is just, these people have no regards for lives. So, in May of 2023, she was found guilty after all of the delays and her trying to say she wasn't, fit to stand trial. And that, I think, went through the courts for a while. Like, I think we had like a 6-month to a year break because of that. And they were saying that she needed to get better so that she could aid in her defense. Well, in May of 2023, she finally is able to do this, and she's found guilty of first-degree murder, and conspiracy charges. And the judge ordered Vallow to serve the prison terms consecutively rather than concurrently, stating that it is important for her to be punished for each death. He said, "You chose the most evil and destructive path possible, despite having a wealth of better, less harmful options." And that's what the judge said to her. He juxtaposed her enjoyment of a honeymoon in Hawaii with her children laying in shallow graves in Idaho. And Tylee Ryan and Joshua Jackson J.J. Vallow had been burned, mutilated, and dismembered and buried like animals, he went on to say. And prosecutors said that Vallow was motivated by arcane religious beliefs as an offshoot sect of the Jesus of Latter-day Saints Mormon faith, heavily obsessed with prepping for the end of the world. And the prosecutors alleged that these beliefs center around dark energy and the end times, as well as her desire to pursue a new unencumbered life with Daybell.
Right. And I tell you what, every day we're getting more and more issues with, people being unalived that have something to do with the Mormon church.
Yes.
Or the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
It's really getting to be frustrating. And, for them to justify their unaliving of their children by saying that, they had reached a level such and such on their zombie demonic scale, and that they would, it was basically more of like a mercy unaliving, so they wouldn't have to endure these problems. But yet you look at the pictures of them in Hawaii together, and it's just like, how can you be on this vacation together, this honeymoon, just
it was so
having
gross.
the time of your life, knowing where your children.
Crazy cat lady, I think they really did. I don't know how they thought this. I don't know how they thought this murdering spree that they had gone on was justified or wouldn't be known, but I guess they did, and so
despite her attorney's musings,
the
judge made his ruling for consecutive life sentences instead of granting her defense attorney's pleas for a 20-year fixed term with an indeterminate life sentence. Indeterminate. Sorry,
indeterminate.
It was it's a tongue tire.
Yeah, it's a tongue tire.
So these life sentences, and so running them, concurrently, which what we're talking about when we say concurrently and consecutively, it's when you have a sentence that's run basically kind of parallel on top of, along with another sentence, versus two sentences separately being run at separate times back to back. So they were wanting to make her eligible for parole then when she was she would have been in her 70s. And the quote here is, I believe that Lori Daybell is probably the most hated person in America right now, said Bonneville County Public Defender John Thomas, one of Vallow Daybell's attorneys. But he said she is a very misunderstood person who is truly all about love and has been defined by complicated circumstances. He asked the judge to use his sentence to impart a sense of hope that would both punish that Vallow Daybell and encourage her to become a model inmate and grow as a person and become a better version of Lori Daybell. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely. I mean, just love, and she should have hope to be a better person. What better person do you want her to be?
That's unbelievable. I would feel, if I were him, I would want to crawl under a rock.
Absolutely.
For the statement about, she's truly all about love.
Yeah,
really.
All about love. And this lunatic, I mean, she's really states that Tammy, JJ, and Tylee all visit her and are happy in their spirit world. She says that JJ visits her as a grown adult man and he's very happy, that Tammy forgives her and that she knows that this was the right thing to do because she was a zombie and they just had to do it because they couldn't allow them to live like zombies on Earth. Clearly.
I have a question for you. After Tammy's body was exhumed, they did an autopsy. Did they ever declare a cause of death, and did they change it from natural causes?
Yes. She's convicted of it. She's convicted, and he's being tried of it. But I don't remember what I don't remember. I swear it had something to do with some poisoning of some sort. Something that she drank or something. I can't remember. I'll look back because we're going to cover this in details. But I don't remember. But clearly she's not in her right mind. Despite originally questioning her ability to stand trial, she was not given an insanity defense, which that's one of the hardest defenses, honestly, to prove. And it's a iffy subject, and it doesn't really absolve them of their crimes. They just end up doing their time in a state insane asylum for the criminally ill. And what's interesting about that is there's no sentence time limit. That's just when the state doctors decide that they're okay, that they decide that they're going to let them go. So this April, 1 year later, her conspirator Daybell is now having his day in court, not with his own antics, not without his own antics. There's lots of stuff going on in his trial. And I'll be covering it next week on Rise in Crime, and while we watch as Daybell's trial continues to play out. Today, during Day 7 testimony, Melanie Gibb testified, and texts between Vallow and Daybell were highlighted.
Yeah. Next week, we will definitely be discussing this case as it goes through the trial. So if any of you guys have any questions or want to discuss anything about the cases we've talked about or discussed tonight, go ahead and then hit us up, because we love to interact with you all.
We have one person that's been waiting for a while. I hope she actually meant to request the box and didn't just hit it by accident. Hey, Crystal, did you have a question or a comment? No?
Yeah. Yes. I heard it, yeah.
I think she's talking to the children. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down, babe. If you're still wanting to talk to us, you can hit the box again. I don't know what's going on here. So hold on. Okay, does anyone else have any questions, comments, something you want to discuss? You can either drop it in the chat if you can't come up in the box. Over here on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, you can drop questions down here. Anything that you guys would like, help research or even discuss. Liquid Zion, would you like to come up into the box and talk about that? Since you obviously you said you've done some of that. If you'd like, you can hit the box. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Daybell case. So,
Tawny, we were discussing at the beginning. We were discussing Gypsy, the divorce, setting the record straight on what's been going on with Fancy and some of these allegations that are running around the internet. And then we discussed the Idaho killings. We discussed the Delphi updates for the year, and then we just finished talking about the Vallow Daybell case, the trial that's going on right now. So those are the main topics that we've been on. So it looks like we have somebody here.
Yeah, we have Liquid Zion. Hey, so you know a lot about this case, about the Daybell case?
Yeah, I follow it a lot. Mm-hmm. Like every single article that comes out, I read.
Right.
I break them down.
So you've been have you been following Nate from East Idaho News?
I've seen a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. I don't follow him.
Okay. That's who I followed through all of this. Yeah, because he was the one that first started reporting. But anyway, keep going.
The link that I had sent to you over on Facebook,
right?
It actually broke down the autopsies of both of them.
Right.
And they actually found a pickaxe in Daybell's shed that had Kylie's DNA on it.
Right.
That's why I said that they pretty much know that they had to have been killed there.
No, I don't think so though, because they could have been unalived at another location and transported there for disposal. That pickaxe could be anywhere. They could have taken it to Yellowstone with them. And
see, I don't think they would have brought Kylie's body back from Yellowstone though, because Yellowstone is so big.
9:30.
It's easier to get rid of a body there.
Maybe 30 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes to 30 minutes.
But what do you think about the fact that his defense is saying that he shouldn't be facing the death penalty because she didn't?
That's kind of how the Gypsy case went. People make the same statements about Nicholas serving life where Gypsy is only gotten 10 years, right? But I mean, each individual that is in a case has different circumstances of what they did, what they participated in, what they can prove. And I think that he was the driving factor, just like Gypsy was the driving factor in her case. I feel like Chad was the driving factor here. Yeah.
Definitely. Because what started the whole thing was him writing the books, her reading the books, and then she became obsessed with him.
Thanks, Cindy and Getcha. Yes, she did. She became absolutely obsessed with him. They were both married to other people, and they were already saying that they were sealed in a temple because they had been in their past lives sealed before they even considered getting rid of the husband and the wife.
Yeah, they were claiming to be God.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, yeah.
Married in another life. You know, it was very bizarre.
Vallow Daybell.
The entire thing is just crazy.
I'm right there. Listen, I'm right there with you, Liquid Zion. I thought at the beginning too, when they said the last place they saw her was Yellowstone, I thought that's it. They'll never find her again because you go off a cliff and there's wildlife there. To basically consume a body, the wolves, the coyotes, the bears, the bobcats, the raccoons,
hold on, Sarah. Ab's got something to say about it.
If you look at any of the deaths unrelated to this that have occurred at Yellowstone, pertaining to their geysers, it is like a proven fact that the geysers are hot enough and that they will melt a human body almost on contact.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If a body falls in there, it is melted.
And yes, Tawny, we have covered missing person cases extensively on our YouTube and in our podcast. We have a Gone Cold podcast that we're thinking about bringing back. So yes, we do missing person cases. See, I do think though that I think she was unalived in Yellowstone, and I think JJ was already gone. That's my opinion only. I think JJ was already in the ground. And I think they brought Tylee back, and I think they tried to burn the remains, and that didn't work out. And so they just dumped her in the shallow grave with JJ and called it a day.
Well, and in the documentary, they actually showed JJ wearing those pajamas, so they knew the last day that he had those on.
Right.
And that gave them a timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they could have gotten rid of her first because
No.
they were too close.
No. He went first. That's what they're saying. They hadn't seen him since August. And then she goes to Yosemite in November, and then that's it. They're never seen again.
And the poor grandparents, I mean, they were pleading and begging, please, where is our grandson? You know, and they could not get any answers.
Hey, Tawny, are you talking about the Hughes and Truitt case of the news anchor? Is that the one you're talking about? I can't remember if that's in Iowa or not, but I think that's who you might be talking about. Josie or Jody. We've covered that case before, yes.
I gotta jump out for a minute.
Okay, no problem.
Well, me that has like a crisis.
Oh, absolutely, no problem. But definitely come back and talk with us again. We'd love to talk with you more about this. Have a good night, okay? Thanks, honey.
Connie, she has some opinions on that.
Yeah, I know. I'd love if you could get up in the box, Tawny.
I said, we're nice. I swear, we're nice. Come on up, and you don't be nervous. You know, talk to us what you think about the Idaho for, you know.
Oh, really, Cindy? I didn't know that. So she was saying she couldn't, she's talking about the Ruby Franks case, which I don't know a whole lot about. I have not gotten to look into it yet. People have been asking me to do so. I have not. It's an internet mom who basically, you know, did some horrible, awful things to her children when she got married to her wife, and the wife was horrible, and to the children. But she's saying that everyone couldn't understand the cactus poker from Ruby Franks, but LDS see cactus as being evil. I didn't know that. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, that's I don't know, that's weird. Anyway, guys, so that's basically all we had for tonight. Unless you guys want to ask any questions in the chat, ask any questions in the box. We're just kind of wrapping up a crazy week. I mean, we've talked about P. Diddy. We've talked about Quiet on the Set. We talked about Gypsy and all her crazy goings on. Now we've talked about, you know, Delphi and Kohberg and Daybell Vallow. So if there's other cases that you would like for us to look at, please send your the case file or the case information to tipsforgoodwives@gmail.com. That's all spelled out, tips for FOR goodwives@gmail.com. You can hit us with thank you so much. Oh my God, you're so sweet. You can hit us up with questions, tips, comments, suggestions, ideas, anything, and we will make sure to get back to you. But you know, I've enjoyed spending some time with you guys here tonight on Friday night.
Do we have anything planned for tomorrow?
I'm not sure. What did you? I know we were talking about it. We were floating it around. What did we even think we might going to do tomorrow? I think I'm going to work with my husband tomorrow, so I don't know if I will be able to do tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. That's totally
I think we'll just. I think we should just pick up on Monday. You know.
That sounds good. So on the next episode of the Crimelines, we're going to be discussing, you know, God knows what, because I mean, every day there's a new headline, and by afternoon there's another. It's so many cases, so little time. But we do plan to continue our conspiracy, or not. I would say comparison. It's a comparison of the Gone Girl novel and movie to the case of Gypsy Rose, and also discuss a real life Gone Girl situation that's being highlighted in Netflix's new documentary series, American Nightmare. I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you haven't, it's 3 episodes, and I highly suggest that you watch it. and definitely watch it before we come back to discuss it. That way we all are on the same page and everybody's caught up. But it's the story about this California couple in 2015, Aaron Quinn and Denise Huskins, that were allegedly attacked and robbed at night. And Denise became a kidnapping victim as well as being a ransom victim, with Aaron became the prime suspect. When Denise reemerged days later, police did not believe her nor her boyfriend Aaron of anything that she was telling them about her terrifying abduction. And they literally labeled her in the media as the real life Gone Girl, because this occurred 1 year after the movie came out.
Right.
And they did them a huge
right.
All of their rights were trampled and violated.
And lots of people say that Gone Girl is based on the Sherry Papini story, which I've looked into before too. But the author of Gone Girl says it's not based on any specific case, but she did draw a lot of inspiration, honestly, from Scott Peterson case, because they were this couple that was like, you know, the all-American couple, very attractive, well-to-do couple, just starting out in life, you know, and here comes, you know, Scott Peterson with, and if you all know Colleen thinks he's innocent, go check out our 4-part episodes on our podcast, because I mopped the floor with her. But she made some good points, and she made me think that maybe he doesn't deserve the death penalty, that I don't think that they proved enough for first degree, but I definitely think they proved enough for second degree. But anyway, going on with what you have to say.
Again, it's on Netflix. It's called American Nightmare. There's 3 episodes, and you definitely need to see this, because not only is it a fascinating story, but it could happen to any of us.
Yeah.
Any of us could have crimes against us committed, and when we go to the authorities to seek help and justice, they do nothing for us.
Right.
Or it can be the other way around, like I said earlier, where these days you are guilty until proven innocent. And there is absolutely nothing worse than being accused of a crime that you did not commit.
Right. We've covered a couple of those. We covered Rodney Reed. We've covered the Central Park 5 before. A lot of those bigger cases. West Memphis 3 is one that we've looked into before with all that. So yeah, I mean, it happens. Our justice system is not perfect. Do I think it's a good system in theory? Sure. But do I think that our system is set up to rehabilitate inmates and fair trials and all of that is happening anymore? Not really. I think our justice system really needs to have an overhaul, like an absolute overhaul. Because I mean, some of the rules and the regulations and things like that, they don't even make sense anymore. You know, there's so many archaic rules and regulations and laws on the books that don't even apply anymore. You know, thank you, Angel. Thank you so much. Yes, Adan Sayed, yes, I've looked into that one. I've looked at the Maura Murray case. But anyway, you know, we've got a ton of content on our YouTube, so make sure you go check that out. Check out season 1 and 2 of our podcast. It's on all major platforms. It's called The Good Wives Guide to True Crime. The first season is all about Gypsy Rose. The second season is deep dives into a variety of different cases, where we would do like 4 episodes of deep diving into the case, and then our 5th episode or 4th episode would be an interview with either a professional in the field or somebody connected to the case. Like in Rodney Reed, we've interviewed his best friend. We've interviewed Kirk Nurmi in the Jodi Arias case. He was her defense attorney. We've had Joseph Scott Morgan on, who is a death investigator, Stephen David Lampley, so many. So you guys should definitely go check that out. But thanks so much for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives and the Crimelines. Don't forget to join our Patreon membership club to get exclusive mini episodes, inside documents, and pictures from the cases we discuss, live YouTube discussions, and get some amazing Good Wives merch.
I love the new wives, the new Good Wives merch. It's so cute.
We've got so much coming out too.
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and I guess now Twitch too.
Yes, and Rumble. We're on Rumble as well.
Net, and then TikTok, we've got Spicy Red 92 for Fancy and Sadie Beth 1 for myself. And then, like I said, we are starting a new Good Wives Net 2 TikTok page.
Yeah, I think it's the Good Wives Network 2 is what it is. If it's not, it's Good Wives Network 2. Maybe without the. I can't remember if I put it in there or not. So, and for more inside information, check out our podcast, The Good Wives Guide to True Crime, on any of your favorite podcast players. Have a good one from The Good Wives, serving up true crime one dish at a time. Good night, guys. Good night.
Good night. I hope everyone has a wonderful, safe, happy, healthy weekend.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for contributing to the super chat over here. For those of you that have contributed on TikTok, we very much appreciate it. You can